Hey everybody, Max Monster, back with Marvel Heroes. This time I got another redo. I leveled Scarlet Witch up to 50. I got to play with a lot of different skills and stuff, and the original build was great on the test center, and it didn't really port over the same way. You know, it happens. Test center to live never happens. So if you ever go on to the test center and start going, oh wow, this patch is awesome, don't buy it until it hits live, it's never going to come out that way. It never does. And they usually do that just to hype up the patch so everybody starts talking good about the patch. They're very smart. So I started finding that build just not working feasibly in the higher levels, and I did a much needed workaround or rework. And it's really not a super rework, it's just adding in a few abilities that really play well together. So what we're doing is we're absolutely keeping Bewildering Hex. This is your ability to control fights. It's going to be tough to make this work on the T4 Doom when it comes up, because when you come up against certain mobs like Hood, Doom, anybody, Madam Hydra, anyone that's moving around a lot, you're going to be laying out these bewildering hex fields all over the place because they're going to move, and once they're out, their mechanic is to break that CC immediately because they become immune. And so you have to have these fields up so no matter where they go, they're in that CC field. And you know, basically you start trapping Hood in a section over here, and you start having like all these CC fields over here and over here and over here and over there. And now Hood starts moving at you, and you're just shooting at him, and he's running through all this, and maybe he teleports here, and now you got him trapped. And you got to keep these fields up when they start dropping, and then you start shooting them. And as you get this field up higher level, it lasts longer, so don't worry about that too much. Well, that's kind of the basic strategy. Same with Hood, or Dr. Doom, and Madam Hydra. She teleports a little bit, runs around and stuff. So it's an interesting ability, very powerful, but you got to work it to your advantage and know that you really need that ability out there working for you. And of course, we're going with Ravenous Binding. This is a way to get health coming in. It's our only way to get health coming in, but it's also a way to control, immobilize targets, and it lasts quite a while. It's a dot. It's a decent damage dealer. We don't have massive damage dealing capability. We have decent damage capability, but we don't have massive, not compared to other people. People want to argue with me, go ahead and argue. I'm not going to argue. It's just a simple fact. 5,000 twice a second is not up to par to some of these other people. But it's adequate, and it's returning health, and we want it. We're also going to be doing Ruinous Flux. It's only 3,000 damage a second to things around us. Some things will come around us, so we'll be around them, so we'll have that out there. It's really like the last-ditch thing out there. It's the last thing that you want to put points in. If you are running out of points, this is the last thing you put it in, because we're going to prefer to stay away from things instead of being into things with this build. We are going to put points into Combusting Hex, though. Because we're using Bewildering Hex and because we're immobilizing, we can lock down mobs enough to keep them in the Combusting Hex long enough to make it work for us. And this is a bigger damage dealer. This is 7,000 damage a second, so that's much better. And like I said, if we got things locked down, we can get the damage going. And a way to keep things into it, we're going to use Reality Implosion. It hits pretty hard, so it's good at killing trash, white trash. Get the trailer park out. And then it will pull some blues, some yellows. Sometimes they'll resist. But sometimes you can get a whole big pack right back into this Combusting Hex again. And then it gives you a nice target Because if you got a Bewildering Hex and then you drop the Combusting Hex and then you do the Reality Implosion, now everything's charmed, sitting there attacking each other. You drop a Ravenous Binding in there and it's all dead. If it's robots that blow up and mobs that do damage when they die, you're not going to want to be near them. Otherwise, you can be near them and let Ruinous Flux do a little extra damage. The whole time, anything with heavy hit points, you want to be laying in with Bewitching Hex. This is a lot of damage. This is almost a rate of fire of 2 per second, so that's giving you 20 spirit per second almost, and it's almost doing, well, it's basically doing 13,000 damage a second, almost. More like around 11,000 damage a second. So it's massive damage. It hits hard, and it's returning spirit to fund everything. Now we are keeping Ruinous Flux up. That's 40 spirit. We're just going to put a 1 point for this build in Warding Veil to help us prevent anything from affecting us on the ground, getting hit like by Mandarin stuff and all that other stuff. So that's going to cost us some spirit as well. And I'm going to go through gear to help offset that cost. And, you know, I got 1 point in the fly. I teleport. So be sure to have your teleport available. You're going to have to put 1 point in Hex Binding. And I put 1 point in Obfuscation because, you know, it's free. You know, basically free projectile dodge and some defense. And that's it. That's how the build works. For gearing, I'm just using a beta particle mini reactor to basically offset having those two veils up, or the veil and the flux. That's covering that cost. I'm using the Super Soldier Serum, which there's talk of this getting nerfed and getting the health regeneration pulled. Which is, if that's the case, and they're saying defense is getting thrown on right now. If that's the case, you're going to throw on a Yukio's Charm because you need health regen. You don't need defense. You don't need the spirit regeneration. You don't need the spirit. You need health regen. You have no access to health regen, and our Wicked Cool Unique has no health regen. I don't think they know what they're doing when they're taking away this from certain characters that they haven't built in a strong health regen. This is an okay health regen, but it's not a strong health regen. You have to hit. There has to be targets. When there's just a boss, 98 health a second is okay. I'm using Dr. Octopus, so I have wider area effects. Obviously, with all these area abilities, especially this Bewildering Hex, I want to make sure that hits. Combusting Hex, the Reality Implosion, even the Chaos, these Veils, everything is basically AoE, so I'm using Power Prism Shards, lower the cost a little bit, but I get that big crit rating on them, some crit chances. You notice I'm not bothering with Chaos Magic. It's about 40 spirit for 20 points. It's not worth it. It's always a 15% chance, and the hexes are kind of decent on their own without putting points into it, so I'm not bothering with points. It's kind of a, I think it's a trap for points now. It's, you know, if you had nothing better to do, it'd be great. If it came on a unique, like say this unique said plus 20 to that skill, that'd be great. The only thing really awesome about this unique is there's a chance when you are hit to become invulnerable for 3 seconds and +1 to energy. You know, 3 spirit when you kill an enemy and +1 to all your ranks is pretty good too, and some health. It's a okay unique for sure. I got really good you know, treasure finding gear right there. Only been able to find 1 Lemuria. More Lemuria, better. This is all damage rating. I was trying it out. Damage rating doesn't really pay off too well. You don't get a lot of damage rating. And because I'm always using a basic attack, I'd probably be much better off with some damage health returned on basic attack, because there's not a lot of health regen. Don't take a lot of damage either, but when you do, you gotta get it back. So it's one of those iffy games. So I'll go ahead and show it off. Let's see what we got here. 50. Let's aim on 2. I could use the cube shard though. So I'll go to aim. So these are still green. Nothing's going to attack me because they're all going to become my buddies. They're going to turn and attack everything. It's awesome when you do it to a turret master and they drop turrets right there. They turn and attack their own turrets. Their turrets attack them. This works on bosses. Again, it's kind of tricky with some bosses because you got to keep it active on them. And they just start whittling away on themselves. Basically, I just cast, well, my rotation is casting Ravenous, casting Bewildering, casting Combusting, and then casting Reality Implosion to suck everything right to it. So now on the boss, I'm going to keep my trigger right on him. You can see he's turning around and killing off trash for me. I got to find him. See, he broke it. I got to keep him up. He ran away. I got to drop that again. As soon as he runs out, you got to drop it right on him again. Or it'll turn and start smacking on you. And that's that Reality Implosion, sucked everything right to Combusting Hex. And this Bewitching Hex is basically my mana battery. Where is it? There's a wizard. It'll be a little bit tough for this. That's that Reality Implosion, just sucking the whole screen right to the middle. There's a wizard, so I'll keep my eye on him. He ran out again. Ran out again. So wherever he runs to, I just keep dropping these little "you're gonna be my friend" circles. And he dies. And that's why it's the most important, because while those are down, he doesn't attack you. Otherwise, she's squishy.
love that reality explosion.
So that's Scarlet Witch and the Chaotica Reborn build, I guess we'll call it. Let's see, what level is MODOK? 48. She's 50. So that was a little bit lower level. But it basically works that way. Orange is obviously a little bit tougher. That's it. So I hope it helps. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you all later.